Hello there! So this is gonna be a quick and dirty video because I need some more time to work on the details of Act 3. Now of course, as many of you may know, every time we get a VGU or a new champion comes in, they have voice lines in the game that usually reference certain parts of their story. And since Viktor is the one who got reworked in the game, he also got a bunch of new voice lines. Voice lines that are connected to Arcane, which means we can go through them and we can look for all the possible references to the show. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So enjoy this hybrid of a reaction and explanation. Also, I didn't notice that my microphone fell down and it was in the way of the camera until I was like halfway through the video, but I don't think that matters, right? And yes, if you enjoyed this video, we might also dive into the voice lines of Jinx, because that entire skin is also based on this series. At least that will buy me some more time. So let's get into the video. Alright, so here I am saving time by not having legs. So let's get right into it.
Your blood saved me, rather, but it will not save you.
Alright, first of all, I did not think that would be a different voice actor, but here we are. I am pretty sure that's not the original Viktor. I would have to check the credits. Yep, indeed, the voice actor is Owen Thomas, which is not Harry, whom we know from Arcane, so it makes sense that the voice is different. And immediately we get a reference to the fact that Singed extracted Vander's blood and put it into Viktor, and that's how he awoke from the egg.
I am certain Noxus sees the strength in my mission, Ambassador.
So here's the thing. Noxians always revere strength. That's literally what Noxus has always been about. So saying that they see the strength in you would suggest that you wanna be recruited by Noxus, which I'm pretty sure Viktor doesn't want. In fact, he's the one who's been using Noxus to get access to the hex core.
I see you have evolved all on your own, Blitzcrank.
Of course, we all know that Blitzcrank did not make it into Arcane because they simply had too many characters and he just didn't fit in. And yes, according to the original lore, Blitzcrank was created by Viktor. However, that was retconned and now we have no idea who made Blitzcrank. So it's amazing to see this reference because, hey, at least Blitzcrank was mentioned. And yeah, without Viktor, I guess he did evolve on his own.
Professor, have you come to renounce your anti-hex core dogma?
I'm gonna assume that's just a word he would use for Heimerdinger not liking Hextech. At least at first. Now I wonder if there's gonna be more Heimerdinger references.
Neither friendship nor love will stop what is necessary, Chase.
Alright, so I am pretty sure the love has nothing to do with Jace. That was confirmed by the co-creator of Arcane directly. But yeah, this is a reference to what Viktor and Singed have both been saying, or at least Viktor started saying that after Singed. And they mentioned that everything bad they ever do, they do it for love. Except after turning into this, I guess that is not the case anymore.
We've surpassed our feeble forms, Oriana. May the rest follow our lead.
And this is an obvious reference to the fact that Oriana is no longer technically based on the previous version of Hextech. It is now based on the Arcane, which still kinda comes from Hextech. But as we saw in the show, it is way different from what we saw before. And yes, technically, Oriana is now the last living automata that Viktor created.
It's not too late for humanity, Doctor. I have the power to treat what ails them.
Now, of course, what Singed always said ails all humanity, and which is something that he wants to get rid of, is death. That is what Viktor is talking about here.
That you broke our alliance is unsurprising, Ambassador. Such are the whims of sentiment.
Okay, I like that he's actually referencing specific episodes in the show. I mean, in this scenario, it is a what-if scenario where Viktor is on the battlefield on the Summoner's Rift against Ambessa, which means that she would break the alliance. But it's kinda cool that he's saying that he kinda always expected that, because of course he did. He was likely aware of the fact that Ambessa wanted to use his army for Noxus, while Viktor just wanted to end all conflict. So in the end, he would have to stop Noxus too.
I have observed that a creation will always reject its creator.
Alright, another Blitzcrank reference. I guess that's just a generic reference to AI always rebelling against the creator. And again, this is a what-if scenario where Blitzcrank is on the Summoner's Rift against Viktor. But interestingly enough, this quote would suggest that he created Blitzcrank. But now we're going into a rabbit hole, I guess.
You will have us remain insulated in our ignorance, Professor.
And that is another reference to an episode from Arcane where Heimerdinger just refused to do anything with Hextech. He wanted Viktor to step away from it, but by doing that, they would never learn about the Arcane.
We could have ushered in a new era together, Jace.
What is there to say, I guess? The two were together for a little bit.
It seems perfection is still fallible, Oriana. I must think on this.
And now I wonder if this is a reference to the fact that, she is one of the Primordians, as they call them. But now I wonder if this is talking about the fact that while all the other Primordians disappeared, because, well, Viktor disappeared too, Oriana stayed behind and she is seemingly functioning just fine.
As a child, I dreamt of becoming you, Singed. How foolish I was.
And this is an awesome reference to the first flashbacks we saw in Arcane.
Your people failed you, Vander.
Did they? Okay, you know what? That is quite a bit of a jab from Viktor. Because they had Vander's back the entire time. Even at the end, they got the meeting around the statue and, all of Zone actually united. So Viktor is just talking about his glorious evolution again.
A new era is here. Follow me, and I will give you enlightenment in place of emotion.
I also love how this is really dialing into how Viktor started in Arcane, where he was kind of this messiah that was saving everyone, and he's still holding on to that character.
No longer will we be guided by invisible hands. The Arcane will free us, and I am its herald.
This is actually a really cool reference to a quote I remember from Arcane. During his conversation with Singed, before he got turned into the actual herald, the two talked about evolution, and Viktor actually called evolution an invisible hand. But then, after he became the herald, he basically delivered everyone into the glorious evolution, which is what he's doing here. So from that point on, it is no longer the invisible hand, but he knew exactly what he was supposed to do. This line is really clever.
I speak now with not one voice, but many. Embrace Hextech.
Of course, this is a reference to the fact that he can now possess pretty much anyone he touches.
Humanity has stumbled, but I will catch the fallen and show them the glory of evolution.
Okay, the fallen were mostly people addicted to Shimmer.
When you're going to change the world, you don't ask for permission.
That is actually an amazing line from Arcane 2. I think this was actually mentioned twice, but I can't remember who was the first one. I don't know if it was Jace or Heimerdinger who said it first. Actually, I double checked. That is the line that Viktor said to Jace in the scene where Jace wanted to kill himself in Season 1. Now this line is even better.
I am the only one with the means to cure suffering, but it is a lonely path.
See? A bit of a plot twist, because at the end of Arcane he kinda learned that Echo can do it too. Sure, the Z-Drive only created a tiny bit of Arcane, but the reason why he was shocked at the end of the last episode is because he learned he doesn't have to be the one who delivers this kind of evolution. Other people can also arrive at the same conclusion. Which means conflict, even at this high level, will always find a way. I guess we'll dive into that in the details video.
They think humanity can survive with emotion. Survive as what? Creatures blinded by impulse?
I like this, because this really sets up Viktor's character. See, now he feels like a machine, even though in-game he still kinda behaves like a human.
Emotion and logic cannot coexist. One must be shed to gain the other.
I wonder if this is a reference to how he and Sky kinda were inside the same Hextech. I wonder if emotion was Sky and logic was Viktor himself.
Excoriation requires no justification. What purpose is there in explaining the horseshoe to the horse?
Excoriation? Well, that's the first time we heard that word, I guess. Also, is that canonically what happens if you get turned into one of the Primordians?
There will be no need for shopkeepers after the glorious evolution.
You know, he's technically not wrong about that. In fact, I'm pretty sure they didn't even have a shop at the little utopia that they built at the bottom of Zone.
All will be clear once I open your mind.
To be fair, I really like all of these quotes where he really sounds like a proper villain. Because in the show, he didn't get any of these villainous lines. He was just like, "Join me, Jace," and then he turned everyone into the Primordians. So actually hearing him talk about his goals is really cool.
Order for chaos.
That is actually technically a line that is referencing a quote from Arcane 2. In episode 6, I believe, which is after Jace kills Salo, you get the scene where Viktor is in Cosmos and he's talking about the anomaly, and he really mentions that everything is just chaos. I'm pretty sure that's what this is referencing.
My place is at the intersection of order and chaos.
Again, the exact same scene. He also said that the Arcane is always replicating and always destroying itself, which is probably what the order and chaos is.
I see every possibility and outcome laid before me.
Again, he's not wrong. In the last episode where we learned that Viktor was basically in the whole time loop, he really did see every possibility. But not the one where he just stopped himself.
In another life, this would have seemed impossible.
So what was I just talking about? Yeah, I am pretty sure this is talking about the fact that, yeah, in another life, he got stopped.
I did not know true beauty until the Arcane.
What do you mean beauty? Isn't the point that you're kinda emotionless now? Until the moment your mask breaks by Echo or something?
Hextech will unite Piltover and Zon once and for all.
You know, yeah, he's not wrong. Isn't he supposed to be uniting the entire world? I think Piltover and Zon is the least of your worries.
I won't forget the lives lost in my pursuit of excellence.
He did forget Sky. He did do that.
Sentiment is incompatible with control.
I don't know, just a moment ago we were talking about how the Arcane is beautiful. But I guess that makes sense because you can't really control it, can you?
Without the Hex Core, death would have claimed me.
Not wrong. Also, Jace is the one who smashed the Hex Core into you.
We will supersede nature.
Whoa, okay, how? Oh, another really cool reference to a quote from Arcane. Again, this is from his talk with Singed when they were talking about the evolution, and he mentioned that they should not defy death, they should supersede it. Which is exactly what he's talking about here.
My comfort with death comes from proximity, not ignorance.
Oh, so he's close to death. I guess that's what he meant by trying to supersede it.
No progress, no liberation. My purpose.
Okay, I think that's it for the base Viktor. So to be fair, these quotes were really good, and I love how they were referencing specific scenes from Arcane. Not only that, it is cool how these expanded on the character, and we finally got to hear a little bit more of his opinion on what's happening with the evolution. Really, he was just setting the tone for his character. But of course, that's not the only version we got in League of Legends. Because we also got the Arcane Savior Viktor, which is a legendary skin, which means he got entirely unique voice lines. And what this represents is just Viktor before he turned into whatever the thing he is now. So I'm pretty sure this is supposed to represent the more human Viktor that is in his utopia just saving people. Even though yes, he does look slightly different, and I don't exactly understand why. I would have loved it if they just gave us the Viktor we saw in the series. I don't think they had to give him a Spirit Blossom treatment. Anyway, let's have a look at the lines.
Even if you oppose me, Jace, I will still help you.
Is that the same voice actor? Is the filter that strong? Yep, that's the same thing. I am actually surprised. Also, I didn't notice that my microphone fell down. Sorry.
Would Noxus choose the greater good over its own interests, Ambessa?
No! But I guess you already know that. If this is Viktor before the entire Arcane happened, then it's actually cool to hear him questioning that.
Welcome, Professor. I hope you keep an open mind.
See, now I wonder if this is actually Viktor inside the Arcane as he was saving all the people. Or at the very least, this is from the perspective of the people whom he saves. Maybe that's why he's welcoming people and, you know, talking about everyone opening their minds.
Those who resist help are often the ones who need it most, Powder.
So yeah, this is Viktor in the scenes where he was saving people. So you know what? This is really cool.
Surely a man of science can see the precipice we stand upon, Dr. Revek.
Hey, Dr. Revek. Okay, a really cool reference to their little talk before everything went down the drain.
I see your mind, Violet, where love and rage burn with equal intensity.
Hey, even Jinx mentioned that Vi always liked to beat things. But hey, she also has her love for her sister.
Vander may be lost inside you, but that does not mean he is beyond my help.
Yeah, for now, but technically a little bit later, Singed just destroys Vander, and then Vander is no longer.
Your plans for Hextech are no longer compatible with my own Ambessa.
Really cool to mention that Ambessa actually wanted to use Hextech as a weapon, but he still wanted to save them all, which is weird that this isn't the quote of the normal Viktor.
Love can distort priorities, Caitlin.
So we all remember the prison scene, right? The scene where Vi was supposed to run after her sister and instead that's not exactly what happened. I wonder if he's referencing that.
I will miss our debates, Professor.
No, you won't. Man, I'm gonna have fun in my details video.
I foresaw your failure, Jace, but I had hope nonetheless.
This is very interesting. But I guess, yeah, this is a reference to Viktor traveling back in time and just trying different options till he finally figures out a future where Jace succeeds. That's why he's pointing out the failure. Man, this is a really good one.
Powder, chaos without order only brings ruin.
Again, chaos and order, you know, that's exactly what he talked about when he was in space.
Alas, Doctor, I am sorry we could not find common ground.
Again, a really cool detail to their little talk, because at the end they did kind of go their separate ways, because Singed just wanted to merge everyone into Viktor. I mean, that did happen at the end, but not on common grounds, I guess.
Suffering cannot relieve suffering, Violet.
Okay, so this is directly Arcane Brawler Vi, which is the version of Vi that was fighting in the Brawl Ring. So yeah, Vi was just suffering from all the alcohol and getting beaten, which didn't really relieve suffering, I guess.
You shared your mind with me, Vander. I am sorry I could not do more to help.
No, he did do a lot to help. It just so happened to be that Singed kinda screwed it all over.
I have a very specific sense of humor. Some would say arcane.
I hate this so much.
Now, it is my turn to save you, Jace.
Look, I know that this is a first move against enemy Jace, but let's not forget the fact that Jace is the one who killed Viktor, technically. Even though that is what pushed him into the next phase of the glorious evolution. But he is, of course, talking about the fact that Jace saved Viktor by slamming the hex core into him.
I sense your presence, Sky, as if I had never lost you. Come, your assistance is appreciated.
Man, this brings memories of the scene where Sky just gets deleted, which is absolutely amazing.
In every person exists the possibility to transcend their own consciousness.
This might be a slight contradiction to what he was thinking before. Because he used to think that he would be the only one who could get Arcane to the phase where it ended up. But that was never really confirmed, that was just assumed. So you know what, hearing this is actually really cool.
Emotion inspires us to our greatest good and greatest evil. I am unable to reconcile this.
Yep, we've heard this at the end of episode 6, I believe, with the rolling coin, where he just figured everything out. I do believe that was the very last quote of that episode.
People call me a healer. I just release them from their own captivity. When the mind is free, the body will follow.
Hey, he's not wrong. When the mind is free, everyone turns into the Primordians, so their body does follow.
Sky, I am sorry you cannot fully experience this, but I am glad I can still share it with you.
They really should have gotten a second voice actor just to give Sky a voice here. That would have made his skin so good.
There is a message hidden within the pattern. I may be the only one who can see it.
I think this might be actually a reference to another quote from Arcane. I think when he was looking at all of his math, there was a scene where someone said that there is a message hidden in the patterns. I thought it was Jace who said it, but it might be Viktor.
Glorious evolution!
Hey, he said the thing!
Rage blinds you, dragon. Let me help.
Wait, he can also help animals and beasts? Well, to be fair, there is a lot of lore that suggests that dragons are highly sentient. But there can be some primal dragons who don't speak, and so, Hey, this is confusing.
Did I act justly, Sky?
Wait, he's also questioning himself? I did not expect that.
You were worth the risk.
Oh wait, that is a clever quote to a very specific scene from Arcane. Again, in his talk with Singed, when they were talking about Warwick, he mentioned that he is not worth the risk. That is him referring to sacrificing Warwick to Singed. So this is once again a really clever line.
Wait, this is not my bedroom.
Okay, so this is a quote from I'm not sure which episode it was, if it was 2 or 3, but this is the scene where they are breaking into Heimerdinger's office, and Viktor is using the key, and Mel catches them, and then he says that.
I have faith that my community has stayed strong in my absence.
Hey, he's also referencing his community, which is obviously the utopia that he made.
Curious. Is the Arcane responsible for this?
I like that he's also questioning the power of the Arcane and how it can also destroy.
My sense of responsibility is expanding beyond this community.
Hey, finally he's referencing the fact that maybe Piltover and Zone are not the only place that should be touched by the Arcane, but maybe the entire world.
I have come a long way since the Fissures.
Hey, Fissures are mentioned. In case you don't know, Fissures is just a fancy name for the lanes. I believe it was first called the Fissures because they were mining there, and the lanes is what came out after it was built into a community.
Rigid minds cannot evolve. I am solitary, but never alone. No one is beyond change.
Did he not just say that rigid minds can't change? No, sorry, he technically said evolve, but... Isn't that the same thing?
Sky, stay with me. Change is inevitable.
Alright. So, I will say that the voice lines of the original Viktor now, which is just the base skin, are cooler than this one. I was hoping that this would be actually a true version of the Viktor we got in the show before the evolution, because there he felt more like a shepherd than he does here. We're still not exactly sure what form of Viktor this is. Again, he does look like something that fell out of the Spirit Blossom universe, but it should be at least close to that version of Viktor that we know. But yeah, you know what? I like the few Arcane references we got. I thought it would lean a little bit heavier into it, but at the same time, I like how it also spread the voice lines around, and it showed us the Viktor that we didn't really get a chance to see. Especially with the original Viktor, because really we only saw the fully masked Viktor in one episode during the finale. Before that, we never really got to see his emotions, or the lack of them. This one was just referencing something we already know, and it's surprising it wasn't as good as just leaning into something that's new. So you know what, these voice lines are fine. I was expecting something a little bit crazier, like, I don't know, quotes about Heimerdinger. But again, Viktor didn't do much with him, he didn't even see him explode. So now it's a shame Echo didn't get new voice lines.